The phone rings, and for a second, it's like calling anyone. The pot dealer's line sounds exactly the same. I don't know why this comes as a shock. Really, what was I expecting? Reggae? A woman picks up on the second ring. She speaks in sober, polished tones, not your usual Mary Jane receptionist. Thank you for calling San Diego Safety First. This is Ginger. How may I help you? For the trimmest whisker of an instant, I'm thunderstruck. A place with lucid employees is a twist I hadn't expected. She isn't rubbing Maui Wowie from the edges of her words. I hear no spearhead in the foreground, no big flicker in the water, lowly percolate. I've been looking for pot work for almost a month, hitting up every smoke shop and co-op from Oceanside to Ocean Beach. Marijuana fulfillment was never on my career docket, yet here we are in the spring of 2008. W is president. The economy's in full kamikaze. 100,000 journalists are in the midst of permanently losing their jobs. I know, because I was one. Foreclosure billboards line the highways, and my parents are on the verge of losing their home. Sometimes we find ourselves in moments. To Ginger, I say, I got a message about a driving gig. Oh, the delivery driver. Please hold. Maurice is in the back. Maurice, the owner, Big Mo, 6'4", 300 pounds, head shaved, fire engine goatee, tattoos up and down his arms of classic cars and guns, bipolar, a white nationalist, an Afghanistan war vet, booted out for weapons smuggling. And now, under the legal auspices of Health and Safety Code 11362.5, California Compassionate Caregiver. Much of our first conversation circles around whether I'm a cop. He never asks if I'm a reporter. Maurice has one of those booming baritones, grandiose like a professional wrestler. A few days hence, after passing my criminal background check, I'm given the address to a safe house in Lake Elsinore, told to come immediately, alone, and off I go to Nazi country. Friends ask, were you scared? I mean, most of us watched Breaking Bad while you sort of lived it. I was numb. Numb in all the ways you're dazed when it's been raining on you for a long time. I've been in poor health for many years. Was told it could be a brain tumor, and it wasn't a brain tumor. Was told it could be testicular cancer, and it wasn't cancer. I was down in San Diego for medical treatment. To vaguely function as a human, I'd learned how to plunge 2 hormone shots into my shoulder every week. When your body breaks, your spirit gets stronger. And good thing, because I was about to need all the help I could get. Journalism, my career, all the jobs vanished. Then the economy crashes. My parents lose their life savings. I'm staying with them in Escondido while getting doctor's appointments soon. My father's urgently on the phone with the bank while my mother's splayed across her bed sobbing, convinced we'll be out on the streets. The only business booming is the marijuana business. I know this because when you're crawling through a hormone disorder, your body's soaked in hot flashes, yeah, you might smoke a little reefer. I tell my parents I have a card, I've seen the inside of dispensaries. There are whispers some places in LA are making 50 grand a day. In LA, there are more pop shops than Starbucks. My parents, they're willing to try anything. I make a resume with a big inlaid pot leaf. Begin sending it around. Tell myself I'm self-embedding, going undercover so I can write a book, sell a script. As a reporter, I'm good. As a writer, okay. But where I truly excel is running off of cartoon cliffs and learning how to fly in midair. I get the job. Charm the pants right off of those Aryans, who run the whole dispensary as a dynamic duo. When the phone rings, the ringtone's Amy Winehouse Rehab. Ginger takes the orders. Maurice deals with suppliers, and I become the driver. The link between San Diego Safety First and all of San Diego County. Is this safe? Fuck no! Medical marijuana is legal in California, but it's illegal federally. No more so than in San Diego, which, despite the sun-splashed reputation, is the most conservative big city on the West Coast, home of the largest DEA field office in America. Which is why Safety First runs out of Lake Elsinore in Riverside County, home of meth. Yeah. A whole different county jurisdiction. Big Mo is many things, stupid is not one. Now, paranoid. Every morning I pull into a rusty, worn-out neighborhood 10 miles off the highway. Across the street is one of the more popular meth spots in town. Cars rolling in all day in 15-minute clips. This reassures Maurice. Pigs will rate him first, he says. Our house is a ramshackle ranch, squared behind a tall wire fence. Front yard feral to slow down the SWAT. Only way in is to hop a retaining wall and say aloha to two snarling pits. Each morning, I collect my kit, edibles and bag dates secured under lock in a black metal toolbox, a cell phone, delivery slips, then dive bomb back into San Diego with about a half-pound in the trunk, passing through a federal way station in Temecula, smiling at the officers, capitalizing on Maurice's theory that the sharks won't hassle a pretty boy driving a nifty car. There I am, living in the fast lane, driving in the slow lane. 3 months, 10,000 miles, more than $100,000 of medical marijuana delivered. And right smack in the thick of it, like Sam Jackson dodging bullets in Pulp Fiction, what happens? I have a bona fide moment of clarity. Sure, I'm delivering to bored housewives, stressed out kindergarten teachers, casino Indians, and Blackwater consultants, lots of patients whose medical needs are questionable at best. But I'm also delivering to many who are truly sick, the blind, paralyzed, a patient with a traumatic brain injury, and to end-of-life hospices. One man gives me the stink eye when I first bring him brownies, but all the times after, finally able to eat and sleep, with tears in his eyes, he says, God bless you. This part of the job, this single benevolent piece, begins to awaken something in me, something brought low after so many years of being sick. All Maurice wants is to get over, take his caregiver money to the bar, dead heads in the parking lots after. Well, I begin reading about social business, the merging of capitalism, charity. I'm inspired by Paul Newman, whose Newman's Own has raised more than $250 million over the years for everything from camps for terminally ill kids to environmental preservation to fighting poverty. If a bottle of salad dressing can do that, what's the power of Blackberry Kush? As I learn more, I feel inspired to do more than just write some fleeting expose about what's wrong with medical marijuana. I realize I want to build something, create a true nonprofit, all marijuana proceeds toward funding a community arts organization. Before I know it, I'm back in LA, trained, supplied. The Nazis haven't killed me. I call mine the Artist Collective, and I'm going to be what most believe impossible. I'm going to be a drug dealer with integrity. I spent 5 years in the Hollywood medical marijuana biz, trying to do something I thought was amazing. Take money out of the hands of men like Maurice and place it in the hands of painters, poets, performers, musicians, in the form of art prints. That's the true magic of a plant, any plant. Put a seed in the ground, money springs up, and we get to choose who receives that money. I have faith in the mission, though many of my friends were, shall we say, incredulous about my new career as a marijuana philanthropist. Thought I'd taken things one toke over the line. Editors stopped publishing my writing, believed my new position eviscerated my credibility. Even the parentals got cold feet, urged me to quit, said they'd worked something out with the bank and they didn't need me muling drugs anymore. But I couldn't quit. When you've been sick as long as I was, do you know what's more addictive than drugs? Hope. I felt more alive than I had in years. So I kept going, hoping to prove legal pot could be different, although it kept showing me that it wasn't. 5 years working to start a medical marijuana-based charity in Hollywood, I survived 2 more shady partners, both who made Maurice look honest. In all, I logged 75,000 miles in LA traffic, like a little green cannabis pinball bouncing from town to town, while the people around me cleaned records before, skimmed, and stole. I talked up our charity mission to NPR, the BBC, the New York Times, while behind my back, they gutted it. In the end, I kept driving because, just like San Diego, many of the sickest in LA needed deliveries. They were poor and sick, and maybe I emphasized with their loneliness. Other places wouldn't offer free medicine or deliver to their parts of town. I did. I'm a retired kingpin now. Fought all the way down to the stump. When it was over, I lost everything. But I learned a few things. When you have an outside-the-box idea, you have a lot of moments to consider your fate. Sometimes you'll ask yourself existentially, who's resisting who? Is the world resisting me? Or am I the one resisting my vision at odds with what the world is ready to be? But that doesn't mean I regret what I did. Because resistance is the hype man for progress. And progress isn't measured in easy victories. Sometimes it's loudest in the quiet space it makes. All those little moments when you offer compassion in the face of judgment, when you open hearts, inspire others to think. That's what I tried to do, one pot delivery at a time. That's where I succeed.